Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos a una nueva clase magistral de violín. Hoy tenemos a Justin Bruns, un gran amigo y colega de los tiempos en la Universidad de Michigan. Y Justin, thank you for being here this afternoon for us. We're very looking forward to your class and thank you for joining us in the Festival Portillo. Thank you so much. And now I will leave you with the students of the festival. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Alejandra. I'm happy to be here, and so is my puppy in the background. We will start with Sarah, who I think is playing Sibelius Concerto, and Sarah, I will listen to at least 5 minutes, but maybe more, but maybe I will stop you so that we have time to work together. That's okay. very nice. Can you play just some cadenza?
Yeah.
I won't listen to all of it. Is that okay? I just want to watch a little bit more. Very good, Sarah. Thank you so much for playing. It's really well studied. I like how you appear to be quite focused and in the moment. Have you been working on this a fair amount of time?
Yeah, like a year on and off.
A year on and off? Okay, very good. And are you preparing it for any specific event?
Not at the moment, no.
Are you a student still?
I just graduated last year, and I'm taking a year off during this pandemic.
Yeah, during the crazy time. Okay, fine. So there are a couple of things that I think we can spend some time thinking about together. I don't know how it felt playing, but I think what I crave from the listening is a little more obvious sort of a commitment to the musical line, or like emotional investment in a way. And I think it's both in the less lighter, quieter, gentler passages, as well as the like high points of virtuosity. And so I think there are several places where I want to try again to try some of that. And the first place would be the beginning. Tell me how you feel what is happening at the beginning. Like, what is the atmosphere or musical content, emotional content?
I mean, you're trying to take this ungrounded atmosphere with, it's mysterious. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Okay, good. I like that mysterious word. That works for me. It sounds like, if you can imagine, like if we take a walk, it currently sounds like we're walking down a sidewalk in a very familiar like neighborhood where we sort of know the streets, the houses are very normal. And so I'm wondering if we had to take a walk in a different place, what it would look like, and that's like maybe what it would sound like. And I know it's really difficult to make things come across on Zoom and FaceTime, but I feel like if we can do it here, it would be fantastic in person. So even how we grab the sound at the beginning, I think a lot of people go for either like very focused or very flautando. And I'm wondering if, because I think you're quite like fluent, proficient, I'm wondering if we grab the sound, but very lightly with very few hairs of the string of the bow, so that we have a little bit of this, but it's only for being. Yeah. Okay. You want to try some of this?
Sure. Yeah. But still focused, or
a little bit focused, but not obvious. It's just we don't want like airy and fuzzy. Oh, I see. And how do you feel like in here, in this part of your neck and up? What does that feel like when you start? Do you know? Right. It feels a little bit like, and what if this maintained the emotion here physically that you want to say with the sound? So it might be more open. And is there a way in the journey? The other part of this idea of maximizing both low and highs is how we follow through long tones or end groups of notes that belong together. Is there a way in that first G to say very precisely, I have to play the A right there, and it has to move to the G, so that we have. So I don't know about you, but like that sounded very different over Zoom to me in like a very satisfying way. Is that helpful to think about? Keep that going. Sometimes I think you have really good beginnings of long notes in this opening, but we sort of just get onto autopilot at the ends of the long notes, and the short notes like the 8ths and the 16ths, they're played very well, very beautifully, basically in tune, but they lack that connection to ever an ongoing driven line. So just play like the first opening. That was so nice. Apply it more. Good. Excellent. It's nice. How does it feel? It looks like you're thinking differently.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying. Sometimes when I try to play, because I'm trying to avoid playing, like I feel like I'm stepping on glass.
Eggshells?
Yeah.
Because of the dynamic level?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, because you want to create this atmosphere, but also you don't want to, lose focus or
right.
shake.
I think it's very natural to feel that way, and I think if you, in a healthy way, create repetition of what you want, both physically and orally, it becomes less trepidatious and more like, this is exactly where I want to be. I won't add more weight. I won't add more pressure. I will take away. You will know exactly where to go. The fastness. Sometimes I'm wondering if there's a lot of hand motion back and forth on them, and I'm wondering if it had more of an efficient motion, where almost. Do you know about torque from science and math classes? Torque. When you change. Well, it's like where you create energy creates more force. Like the closer we are to the point that we need to move, like changing a tire, we can't do it with a screwdriver. We have to have a big, right? And it sounds like right now we could get more effect if we felt like we originated the 16th notes higher up in the arm. Right? And then, so you can stay inside the line. This also, I think there's like a little heart you could put above the F natural. Try right on that pickup to the third bar you play, third full. Oh, sorry. Go up one line to from right there. Good. Those 16, the separate 16ths sound different than the slurred ones. And if you can give me a valid reason, I'll believe you. But I'm wondering if you can try them being more, rhythmically, they're a little bit flubbier. Yeah, as opposed to da-da-da. I actually think it's really nice. And I feel like rather than changing direction of the musical line, it helps keep the line going where you want it. So think about like how you're saying those and how you're making them happen over here is good. Later we'll get to the loud section, but the other bigger thing I noticed is upward shifts tended to be sometimes imprecise, not as much precision as you wanted. So I'm wondering how you're thinking about executing them currently. Like for instance, that one, we tend to be a little bit low, right? Got it that time, but we aren't in context. I'm wondering if in context, it might also be part of like what I was saying in the shoulder and neck, that our body is a little constricted. When I think about hard, fast, long shifts, like this, I always want to lead. I feel like the elbow pulls the hand, which sort of liberates it from having, rather than pushing it up, it's being guided. And the other thing I like to practice is visualizing. Like if I want to do that 2-finger on the G, I visualize. I feel like there's almost like a magnet pulling my finger to the spot. And generally it makes it a little easier. I think it's just a mind trick. Do you want to try from... Yes? Good. That was better. For the line, the C sharps stalled out a little bit. Just to be like listening for that. Can we go to the and the same thing. We didn't get it quite precisely at the top this last time, and I think it's a tension. I know it's like, you know, we have to think when we practice about when we are going to be the most nervous, when it matters the most to nail things, and sort of approach our mindset while practicing when it's like easy. We're just here in our house and it's easy to do. But we want to think about what it feels like when we're nervous, what might happen, like tension or pushing too fast, too hard for these shifts, for instance, and how we can, in real time, inside the context, like press the reset button and execute how we want to. So maybe do that second one. Yep, that sounded careful and precise. Can you do one more? Not careful, but precise. would prefer that. It might have been something from your face, but I prefer it. It's more exciting. It's more inviting for the ears. Another place would be, and are you using the international edition or? Yeah. In my part, it's at the bottom of the page. And this is another place where I thought if you just visualize your distances, your geographical distances, and let go of what's holding you back physically, you'll get up to the tops better. Good. How does your torso feel currently? Like from here to the waist, like it looks. Can it go with the music just a scooch, just a little bit? And why do we not get that pickup note? Dee yada. Yeah. Your brain has to say it harder. Close. I think it is better than that playthrough. It just sounded careful, and it could have been first, new experience. Have you ever considered vibrating the top E? Because, Sibelius didn't put that harmonic there, I don't believe. Oh my God, it's so much more like realizing the arrival. It's like there, you can think about it. The 16th notes that follow, veloce, right? Again, it sounded careful. It also, and I'm wondering if it has more direct focus and more impact if you can like engage opening and closing your elbow or even swiveling your shoulder, because it means moving forward, right? Basically. And it sounded careful. Yeah, it sounds great. It just sounds like you can impress me more. It's possible for you. And then the next one, I don't think it should sound the same. When we start here, I think it should be more heightened, more exciting already. And then the last one as fast as possible. Just for fun. Just try it. So you're already taking me someplace farther away from ground, home base, which is good. Okay, I would that would be what I would focus on here in both this and the cadenza that comes later. How you can transport the listener by musical pacing, farther from the original location. Okay. Another place that I was worried about is this shift. Are you visualizing what it feels like? And also, it is fast, but you can give yourself time to execute it realistically. Show me once that the motion is already starting in the arm. Oh, sorry, over here. like we're already almost there already by the time we actually move. Yeah, that I don't know what it sounded like there, but here it made my heart go for a second during the shift, which is great. And I like how you saved most of the bow for the actual shift. Yeah, this way, which is also a helpful coordination. Okay, in the few minutes we have left, and someone can tell me when I need to stop, but I want to think about the largamente for musical line. Basically, our goal is to never like pause, like even the long notes. We want with our bow arm to be able to sculpt long notes exactly how we want this dynamic shape to be. So yeah, from yeah, it's good. It sounds 100%, and it might be Zoom's fault. It sounds the same dynamic. And can you just, with something deep inside of you, get up emotionally for the highest note? Good. That was better. That was better. Let me see. Something. Even my body, I like to push the sound out physically, and then if this 16th note is, I feel again like it gets a little bit outside of the musical line, and there's another crescendo. You can do the crescendo both here with how the vibrato changes as well as the bow. I love how hard you were working on that and giving it your best try. That's fantastic. I think maybe what's coming to mind here is that when we play musical lines, we want to make sure what we're hearing in our head and what we're playing match each other pretty well, and that a lot of sound direction needs to continuously change. Is that fair to think about? So that you are pushing yourself to take a little more risk in this type of dynamic change. Right before we stop, let's just do, I mean, obviously, for me, I think that's the most heartbreaking, most intense note right there. But afterwards, let's see if we can go for more of the dynamic detail and contour so that the bottom gets more contrasting. Okay. I see, in my part, I see a crescendo. Is there a crescendo in your part? Just show. Stay with it. Stay. I see. That's really beautiful. This is the last thing, and then we have to stop at the top. I'm wondering It almost looked like our body couldn't quite get to the frog. What if we felt like our elbow led very lightly so that it takes the weight risk out of the bow? Yeah, that's nicer for sure. Okay, thank you so much for being so willing to try things. I really enjoyed listening to you. So now, is it Maria Paz's turn? Yes?
Yes, hi.
Then, hi. I'm looking forward to hearing you. Tell me what you will play. The Saraband, yeah?
Yes.
I love this movement. I think of all of those from the Bach, it's like, it might be the most personal, you know, and
Yes.
maybe sad. You know, Bach's first wife passed away. She had died sort of right, not too more before he wrote these. And I sometimes wonder, like, if writing these was part of his dealing with that and learning how to move on.
And saying goodbye.
Yeah. And this is sort of like the middle of the box. Okay, so I'm looking forward to hearing you. I'll put myself on mute. Very nice, Maria. Is it Maria Paz or Maria? Sorry.
Maria Paz.
Maria Paz. Okay, it's very nice, very precise. How did it feel to play?
I don't know. I was a little bit uncomfortable because of this.
Oh, I know.
But I try to do my best, and I always try to make an atmosphere with this piece because I think it's really deep, and sometimes violinists don't take the time to look at the atmosphere. So I don't know if it sounded like that, but I try
Yes.
to do it.
Yes. Do you want to try? Shall we work on making even more?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask questions about how you've practiced it so far? How long have you practiced it?
Since last year, I think, but I don't practice it like every day. I left it out like 2 months and then go back it again and
Yes.
yeah.
Fine. I practice Bach every day, but it's sometimes A minor for 2 months, and it's so funny, like, because I'm getting old now. Like, it's so funny how practicing Bach changes, and how when things become more comfortable, more things come to light, or I prioritize different things now than when I was like a teenager. But okay, so have you played it with only melody without the chords? Have you ever practiced it that way, Liam? To see what the melody feels like musically?
No,
I find that really helpful in this piece. Okay. So at home, I would do, without any expectations or priorities, only listening really carefully and having creativity, so that you are thinking about how different bars but also notes relate to each other, okay? Because I think what you're doing is already good, and I just want to make sure we enhance it and make it more vibrant. Okay. The other thing I want you to think about is look for the places where there are cadences, where we have chords that could end a phrase or even a half phrase. I always find that in a lot of Bach, there's a very short half, like a hello phrase, and that we, by the end of the first half of the piece, travel away from the home key to maybe the dominant, the fifth. And then after the repeat, there are a couple of places where there are resolutions. And those dictate how I think, they help me think about the notes from one resolution to the next in making very coherent and obvious phrases. Okay. So I want to keep that in mind. Do you see any places where sometimes it is a chord, sometimes it's just one note, where it's the cadence, where it's the end of a phrase, and we get a resolution in a home key?
Yes.
Yes.
For example, in bar 11, there's a resolution in C major.
Yes.
So
yes.
I try to do it, but
Good.
And I don't know. There's a lot.
I think another interesting one is in bar 16, 1-6. Yes. It definitely feels like he is saying we've moved to G minor for a second. Minor.
Yes.
Another place that's really important, I believe, and it's not a total cadence, but it is a harmonic preparation, is bar 21. 2-1. Right? Yes. That's a really intense place. And then I think one of the final places is either the first ending or the second ending. and we're back at the home key of D minor. So inside of these places, in the first repeat, we have like a half cadence where we have an option to go back to the home key or continue on. I think internalizing and feeling how those spots create arcs are going to be very helpful for practicing this.
Okay.
I want to talk about chords though before anything else that we play. Sometimes I have found it very helpful to practice chords in very slow motion, like starting them. Because when I was younger, I just sort of almost threw my bow into the string. And I'm wondering if we move very slowly, we can feel how the weight of the bow balances inside of our hand. If there's one finger or one side that absorbs the weight of the bow differently. And when we get to the string, that we feel like we touch 50% and 50%, half and half on that was bad, sorry. That we touch strings equally when we start. Can you try that?
Okay.
So very slow motion. And then after we do this, tell me if you notice how the bow balances in your hand or not. And if we can get that equal 50-50 landing. Good. That actually sounded really nice. Did you notice anything different or more obvious in your hand?
I think it was more obvious the pinky.
I think
pinky. So
the pinky, yeah, it has a lot of power.
Yes.
Because it's curved, and you know how arches absorb weight, like the Roman aqueducts or eggs. The arch absorbs, so it can absorb a lot of the weight of the bow, but also the impact. And when we know that, I'm wondering, can you show me two different dynamics? You played one dynamic currently. Show me a louder one and a quiet one with equal strings and good sound.
Okay.
Just on that open chord. Can you give me even louder, but without getting like less beautiful? Breathe out, breathe the air out as you play the chord. I actually like that one more. It had this sort of spinning sound in it.
Yes.
Now, show me a softer, quieter, but without being still the core. Same feeling. It's okay, try. Even quieter. It might mean you have to move your bow slower. That's nice. I wanted to practice this sort of outside of the context because inside of the piece, I noticed that almost every chord sort of had the same exact quality. The quality is not bad, but it's same. And so I encourage you, while you practice this in the future, to think about where chords rest inside of these arcs of phrases so that they have deeper or lighter qualities depending. Is that fair to think about?
Yes, I think it's really good.
And another thing I want to talk about with chords is sometimes we throw them at the last minute. Like our bow, I exaggerate, I make it a bit, but I think sometimes I call it gliding, where the bow, in the instant that it is stopped, it doesn't leave the strings, but just gently rolls to where it needs to go, so that it makes both the musical line more continuous and less, if we don't want that, then it goes away a little more easily. There are other places where we could do some of this, but that was just one example. Another place would be where we glide, where we don't lift off the string at all. We just gently roll to the string we need. Do you want to try some of these spots real quick?
Okay.
And our goal is to eliminate any extra
spaces,
space, sound space, and then also like the extra like articulation, so that rather than we get as rounded, like you say, as we possibly can get.
Okay.
Now, I think I saw a little face muscle squeeze a little bit right before the chord. Can you neutralize the muscles here so that the only thing that changes is on this side of our body for that chord? Good. It almost, you can even feel like you support the violin without moving it up. You support it rather than the violin coming down into the body.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I felt with more control of myself. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's very helpful to think about this, and very,
Yes.
it's not too hard to change. You just have to practice replicating it so that it becomes your standard, Okay. Try this. Do you see those beats in bar 11 and 12? Good. That felt slightly a little more wild than the other time. Yes. Let's see if we eliminate the rule that we have to use all of our bow all the time and just use what we need instead, which might be less. It might, let's see what that feels like while thinking about body support, gliding. Oh, and when you start, good, breathe out. It's like a wind instrument. If we hold our breath in, it sounds crazy, but if we breathe out, like we're blowing into a wind instrument, and we start these down bows, there's a nice quality.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so now we have a super exercise. We can only use half of our bow. We can't go above the middle when we do this. And I saw some face. We want to eliminate all of that. And I think using too much makes it harder to not squeeze. So we want to make it easier to not squeeze. Less bow. Good. Now, in an effort to like completely make our body, it's not like dead relaxed, because we would fall over, right? If it's like we're 100% relaxed, but we want to feel like our body is in the flow of both the stroke of the bow, but the music. Can we practice on down bows going to our right side? Wait, sorry. Down bows left side, up bow left. So almost like an accordion, down, up. Yes, just tiny, so that we never lock and we never stop our body. calm and just a little bit less, but still that idea of back and forth. Just a tiny bit less. I loved the first one and the third one. So that means when we practice, our brain has to give extra attention to the middle one. What if we stopped and placed before we started so that it felt easier? We weren't making our brain do too many things at one time. Try it. So we stop, place, breathe out, go. That's the right idea. I think you can practice making more space so that your brain has more time to gently and precisely. Okay, good. And they will tell me if I am running out of time, but let's go to the beginning. And what is the atmosphere at the beginning?
I think sort of melancholic.
I think so too. When I feel melancholy, I am definitely, it's harder for me to be open with people and up. And I think it sounds too easy to be extroverted right now when we play it. You know, I'm wondering if we can get that melancholy you're seeking by just thinking smaller.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going
Especially
to try.
second and third beats, especially those. Better. So when you're practicing, push yourself to be more extreme and in different aspects so that you really have explored how small or far away you can get. So I want to talk about the very end and then we're done. This is like the most intense spot, right? I almost feel like for a second, because it's so angsty that I don't have enough energy to be too easy. I feel like almost tired until I get after that. That's for me, when we get the home key, everything after that final home key becomes a coda. It's not really part of the, we could stop there and the piece could end. So when I play it, I feel like everything after that doesn't get too excited. So I'm wondering if we can start on the chord and go to the second ending and show us how the end of the piece is the D natural at the second ending. And then everything after that, it's like rethinking about the melancholy without getting too big.
Okay.
That's nice. That felt different than the first time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for translating for me, for yourself. And thank you for trying all of my ideas. I think you can just push yourself to think about sound creation, bow speed, and how it makes the atmosphere even more enhanced. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
And so finally, Leah Paz will play some Wieniawski for us. Yes? Hi, Leah. Hi.
Sorry.
Do you have a little more, or shall we stop there?
I prefer to stop there.
Okay, it's very good. It's so flashy and so virtuosic. Very good. Have you worked on it?
I learned it 2 years ago.
Okay. Good. Okay. and so when you were practicing it to bring it back up to, what things were you focusing on or noticing from when you worked on it last time?
Sorry.
So when you,
what am I feeling?
or what were the priorities inside of practicing for?
I think that the most important for me in this piece is the rhythm. It is the rhythm and the articulation.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. Okay. Good. So the one thing I did notice that it's very oftentimes quite steady while having a good musical line. But there are places with pauses that I am not convinced work yet, unless if you can convince me. But I want us to think about, if you throw a ball, what? There is a natural, because of how gravity works, it slows down and then starts coming back. But it doesn't stop at the top of the arc, yeah? It doesn't go, what? And I'm wondering about sometimes when we take time, that it should have more of that natural trajectory. For instance, just at the beginning. So for me, the ball starts down there and it lands back on the ground there. So what happens in between maybe can be more connected to each other. Okay? Just try to... Oh yeah, so much better. That sounds really natural and like almost like full of good humor. And the other thing that I liked about that time is like sometimes when we throw, like we sort of, our bow the way we use it doesn't always match this gesture. It sort of sounds more stuck than the gesture I think that you want to play. So the way you did that this time, or is it down or up bow or down bow? Which did you do? Did you start? Yeah. You let go of the bow the way you have to let go of the ball when you throw it up in the air, which is great. Rather than hanging on to the bow and then no throwing. Yeah. Okay. So do the first 4 bars and think about how even when you want that gesture, there's a connection between when it leaves the ground and when it returns. Okay? Okay. Good. Excellent. Good. I really like it. It's very fearless, which is very, very admirable. Good. Is there something? What do you look at when you play? I'm seeing like maybe something. Are you looking at the ceiling or music or?
At this moment, just no place anywhere.
No place. Can you try it with your eyes closed? And I want, while your eyes are closed, for you to think about the landing, down bow landings. And if there is a way to not compromise the excitement, but maybe eliminate any extra noise that isn't a clear part of the music. So sometimes I feel like it's thrown so much, which I love, but you control it, right? So you can change how much you throw or how you throw it so that it's da. Good. I like it. Do you want to try it more risky? One more time. When you get to the second bar, I'm still not sure that it feels natural. I think sometimes it's just there's too much length in space. because then we, because we always kind of want to go to the note after the return. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. Play that much and feel like all good. What does Mr. Wieniawski write at the top? What changes at the top B in the music? Do you remember? The dynamic, I think. Is there a way to make more contrast? Even if the harmonic is but when the has more sneaky. Good. Yeah. Try it one more time. Try just once. Keep your violin immobile so that we can start this really easy. Yeah. Good. Can it be quieter? Yeah. And then when we come down, then it can open up again. I just think it's almost like a cartoon in that it's sort of multiple personalities very quickly. And we can do more. You're very, like, you have like much technical prowess. So I think you can do it. When we get to the bottom, it's another place where it sounds like the rhythm changes. I think would be precise rhythmically, and currently and I'm not sure, maybe an amazing orchestra would follow you, but most orchestras I know would not help me there. So think about to continue that line from the da-da-das, okay? So our goal is quieter, up here. And then when we get to the bottom, that it continues the same pulse, that it doesn't change because the figure changes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever walked the pulse while you play? Have you, like, you know, like with your feet, one walked the quarter note with your feet? So like, you don't want to watch me, but so that so that you feel exactly, that you feel it in your body, that the pulse starts having an actual physical sensation. Can you try? But and the pulse can change. Oh my God, that sounds so sparkly and so exciting. Like it's so natural for you that you keep playing the phrase and you don't worry about taking time. I mean, it's really nice. I don't know how you feel about it, but I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for the suggestion. Very, very good.
I do this all the time. I always, like, anytime I'm learning a new piece, especially like concertos or a solo piece for orchestra, I make sure, like, I can walk so that not only am I thinking in my brain musical logic, I'm also thinking like a physical rhythmic logic. So if I have a cello rondo, it feels naturally gradated, right? As opposed to something like this. And it's really quick and really obvious. what works or what makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's great. It's so nice that you're quite fearless, so you can do things, which is really great. So the way you've changed the bow, how you let go of it, and how you return with it with control, but still flair, is really good. And then being able to keep a pulse between sections is awesome. Would you like to play? I mean, it's sort of the same thing after the repeat. If anything, you can take on the pickup more time, like you're pulling a rubber band or an arrow, yeah, and you let go of the arrow and the speed happens on the downbeat. And I'll stop you if I hear a pulse problem, okay?
Sorry.
Good. Very nice. In this new section, there's a slight change of character. Yes? This opening, it's like very carefree, very Bugs Bunny. I think this part, it's still happy and optimistic, but maybe more more militaristic. Is that possible? I'm wondering about body here. Sometimes when the music gets the most challenging for me, I love to emote. I move when I play. And I think you do too. Like it seems very natural. But when it gets hard, I sometimes eliminate any motion that makes it more difficult, because then the music sounds better for me. And I'm wondering here, to really sound dun, 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 like whatever tempo you want, whatever character you want, you can execute it like immediately and with ease. So start there and show me exactly the sound. If I don't look at your body and I'm just listening to the sound, I want to hear the character. Okay. Your 16th, the 16th note sounds not as the notes on either side. It's a bum, da. Can we get dum, ba bum? Try. Oh yeah. Good. Now, do that whole thing again and think about like some sort of leader who, as he walks through the crowd, every bar is saying something, the same person, but different comment. So the first bar, the second bar, third bar, right? So that we have more aspects, more sides to the same person. That means, I think, sometimes we can dip dynamically or have the sound more rounded, okay? That's better. I think whenever you have the sequences, saying things not quite the same every time is the goal. Yeah, it's getting... So that maybe that F sharp is a little bit different than the A. And then, you know, so that each one changes slightly. And then the same here. You know, like each one increases or decreases. Okay. You want to try that one more time? What is happening musically right here from where we started? What happens there?
It provokes the same rhythm or music, but we have to present something more expectative, something more curious.
Yeah, good. It's like, it's similar to the opening, right? But it's not. It doesn't feel like the return of that character, but maybe he does write piano, so that it's okay, Alejandra. It's almost like you hear them returning from farther away. So that we get, each time we do it now, until the opening, until the octaves, it's like they get closer and closer. Try. So it's far away. Oh, that's too easy. Too easy. Make it. Oh. Did he write an accent? Or is it? Octaves once, walk the pulse, so that we get to the F sharp on time. It's a little late. It's a little late. Does the orchestra play? They will interrupt you if you're late. Okay. So walk, yeah. And then the other thing is, I think a good exercise for you would be to practice how long during practicing, not in context, how long you can play loudly on one bow. Because right now, when we get there, we're sort of down here very quickly. And I'm wondering if you can play it even 6 or 7 beats. Like, how long can you hang on to it with good sound, good intensity? It's a good exercise to strengthen the slow bow loud for you. Do you want to try that? Da-ya, 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 da-ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's good. What if we went even slower?
Sorry?
What if we made even a longer bow? So slower speed. Just see, push that limit.
Yeah. This should be good. Accent in this dan, or just.
It's mostly so that you the goal is that you control in any context how much you're using at one point. I mean, he does write a diminuendo in this edition. But I would want to make sure that it's very, you mean to do it, you intend to do it. But if you, I actually like what you suggested, where you speed, it's very, very exciting that way. Do the second one. And how lightly can we get the shifting motion? We don't have to make a big motion, but the leggero feeling, elbow leads, and we don't squeeze, no squeeze here. Did it feel easier?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded like it was easier to get up there and not like a, so good. Okay, now do these, so in these octaves that are coming up, I always feel, okay, I always feel like my one finger has more sound than my fourth finger, because the way we orally perceive it, it's easier to sound in tune that way. So maybe just once, and then we have to stop. We try. And really focusing on saying more of the lower note than the upper note. Good. Yeah, I think that's the right idea. It's really fun to hear you. We have to stop now, but have fun thinking about the trajectory of your phrases and the pulse, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to all three of you for playing for me today. It was really nice to hear everybody.
Thank you, Justin, for the wonderful class. Thank you very much.
It was my pleasure.
And thank you all the students. Gracias a todos ustedes y a quienes nos están mirando. Un abrazo grande. Thank you. Bye bye, Justin.
Bye bye.